What is up, guys? Welcome back to episode 32 of Rip City Rundown. It is our first episode in, I think, like 2 weeks with all three members back. Cody is back after his absence from the previous podcast. West is here on the top left. They actually attended the game last night, so I'm going to send it to them first. How was that experience of the game last night?
Um, it was really fun. We had some pretty good seats, about fifth row. Obviously we lost, so it was kind of a tough game to go at from a basketball standpoint. It was still fun. The stadium was weirdly empty though, Cody.
Yeah, we'll get into this, but with all the COVID uh, requirements for a vaccination proof, basically, and then mask requirements, it was empty. And then, despite with Blazers sucking, also doesn't help. First game I've been to actually since COVID started, so it was good to be back, even though we took the loss.
Yep, going on, you guys going to events. I'm going to touch on this real quickly at the start. If you guys haven't seen the vlog, go watch it. But you guys were also at MLS Cup. So I know a lot of
Yeah,
Portland fans are just here as fans of just Portland sports. So talk about that too before we get into the Blazers.
yeah, we'll do that first this time. Yeah, that was an insane game. Um, to be honest, that Timbers tying goal might have been the greatest sports moment I've ever been to personally. Um, I would have to rack my brain, but it's definitely up there for sure. The scenes inside the stadium, I don't think I've ever seen a stadium go more crazy than that. It was insane.
Yeah, for those who don't know, it was Timbers versus New York. We were down 1-0 going to halftime, and all the second half, Timbers were sniffing for a goal. And at the 94th minute, so about like seconds before the final whistle would be blown, Timbers score a goal, equalize at 1-1. Yeah, one of the best sports moments I've been to in person ever. Maybe even just seen, including all the TV moments too. But it was crazy. But they lost the penalties. But you can watch that vlog in the link below.
Description for sure.
Yeah,
Crazy game.
the reactions to that goal, just from all three of us, was funny. We got me absolutely just screaming in my basement on a live stream. Got West videoing Cody. He's crying,
Physically crying.
excitement, and then you're just going crazy too.
I have
Yeah, what?
or go ahead, go ahead.
No, I wasn't going to say anything. I was going to move
Uh,
on. Do you have anything else to talk
oh,
about?
well, I was just gonna, I'll do it just because I'm a nice guy. There
What
we
the
go.
heck?
Physically crying. Insane game. To be honest, New York probably deserved to win. They were the better team throughout, but it was still a tough loss. But yeah, into the Blazers. Let's do it.
All right, so you want to start with the two games this week and then get into like the more like
Yeah, let's
roster
start.
talk.
Let's start games. Yeah.
All
So
right.
we've good.
So I'm going to send it to you, Cody. You give me a little rundown of the statistics, but we'll talk about the Minnesota game first. Lost 116-111. Unfortunate loss, but it was nice to see Damian Lillard back. What did the box score look like? Do you have it up, Cody, or do you want me to go through it?
Yeah, I got it. So Lillard, obviously his first game back, but struggled once again. It really sucks, man. I don't know when he's going to get out of this slump consistently, but 3 for 14 from three-point range, 24 points. U.S. actually had a bet on Damian Lillard to get 24 points, and he did. So at least he did that.
Yep,
A lot
that is
worse.
true.
So yeah,
It's true.
Norman Powell, 15 points. Little 10. Nurkic, 8 points. Only played 21 minutes, but he was in foul trouble. I will give him that. But then again, that's his fault. But 26 from Anthony Simons. What a game. Every time he shot, I was like confident that it was going to go in. He was 9 for 20 from the field, 6 for 12 from three. Kind of a dumb foul at the end by him since we could have just stopped them and then got a game-winning three or game-tying three. And then Ben McLemore, 15 off the bench, 5 for 6 from three-point range. He was absolutely lighting up. So despite good shooting from, I guess, not like huge players, still lose to Minnesota. So it's really unfortunate. I mean, Minnesota points were kind of spread out. Edwards at 24, Towns at 23, D'Angelo Russell at 18, Vanderbilt had 14. I mean, Beverly had 10. Their whole starting lineup had over 10 points. So yeah, equal shooting. That's about all I can say for the stats. We had 19 turnovers. That was not good.
That was pretty killer. I do want to shout out Dame. Had 11 rebounds. That could be a career high. I'm not sure if it is or not, but He had a quiet 11 rebounds, 6 assists, 24 points. He had a very quiet 24 points. To be honest, when you're like in person at the game, you don't realize he's shooting so bad. And then you look up at and you see he's 3 for 14 from three, and it's just, it's not good enough. Like Dame shoots 17 shots, 14 of those were 3-pointers.
I think
24 points.
I think you guys are just bad luck when it comes to Dame when you guys go to the games, because remember
That's
last
what we
year
were talking
Pelicans
about.
game 0 for 10. So
That's what we're
he's
talking
gone
about.
3 for 24 in the games that you guys have attended to the last 2 years or 2.5 years.
Wow. Yeah, but I mean, there really wasn't anything egregious that really contributed to the loss. I mean, first half we were just sloppy, a lot of turnovers. Cody said it. I think how many did you say? 19 turnovers.
19. Yeah, Dame had like 4 turnovers in the
And
first quarter.
Dame had 4 or 5 in the first quarter. But it just those types of games come down to the end, and they just happen to make more shots, make more plays. I don't know.
And I want to
Concerning
say,
loss.
I want to say like we should beat Minnesota at home, but I feel like Minnesota's kind of underrated. I mean, they looked good last night. I'm gonna give it to them.
They are an underrated
They
team.
played well together. Despite them them not having as much talent as us, I still feel like they played a great game, and I was impressed, honestly, with how they played. And they have a better record than us, and it shows why.
Yeah, I mean, getting to watch the game on the broadcast, I was able to just kind of follow it a little more than you guys at the game. It was interesting to see Nance start instead of Covington. I think that actually, despite Covington's bad shooting, I do want to give him a shout out because his stat line's actually kind of cool. He goes 3 points, not that good, but 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 5 steals, and 4 blocks. You guys probably couldn't even
really
realize
good.
that when you're at the game.
No.
And then obviously a shout out to McLemore and Simons, but other than the only guys that I think had, you would say, bad games is Nurk because of his foul trouble. And if you look at Nurk's Twitter right now, he posted 3 of his fouls on his Twitter. Just no caption, nothing, just the 3 fouls, 3 of them that weren't probably fouls.
Yeah, we were talking about that at the game. There were a lot of whistles. I'm not saying that's why we lost, but our team's not very deep. Okay, so Nurk needs to be on the floor.
No,
He's in foul trouble. It hurts
Caballero.
the team.
Kevin Caballero was like, in like the second quarter, he was like, "Are we even going to finish this game before midnight?" Like he was getting very pissed with all the whistles. I mean, total fouls. We had 25 fouls. They had 22. A lot of stoppages in this game.
They're pretty even, but that's double-digit fouls each half for each team.
And we missed free throws bad. Dame missed
We did.
3 free throws. I mean, those little differences, man.
Yeah, Dame splitting
Yeah.
pairs on like 3 straight possessions in the third quarter. That was disappointing to see.
Yeah, but yeah, tough loss. Actually, we went 0-3 this week. Moving on from the Timberwolves game, we played the Warriors in Golden State. It's kind of the way they're playing. No Dame or CJ in that game, I believe. That was a scheduled loss. To be honest, I do want to talk about the Clippers game though, and here's why. That was the first game of the week we lost. We lost that game 102-90, but that was a fun game to watch because the Blazers played really hard without Dame or CJ, and they you're holding the Clippers to 102 points. For the sake of the argument, it was under 100 points because there's garbage time free throws at the end. That was an impressive showing for a team that was really outmatched.
Yeah, Norm and Nurk in that game were just the only 2 real offensive threats, and they showed that. I mean, 31 and 29 for each of them.
Mm-hmm.
The defense definitely was a lot more active in that game, but that just comes when you have less talented offensive players on the court. They're going to give more effort on defense, and they are just more talented on defense in the end.
Exactly.
CJ Elleby getting like 3 fourth-quarter minutes, like key down the stretch, and then banging a 3. That was kind of funny to see.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of really underrated players, I do want to shout out Trenton Watford. I thought he gave some good minutes last night. He gave some good minutes.
Facts, he did have some pretty good plays.
Yeah, he had, I think, 3 boards. He got a bucket on a putback. That's all he needs to do. If he gets minutes, he's got to make the most of it. Just not be a net negative like Rondé Hollis Jefferson.
Yeah, but the reason he's coming in is just because the depth in general is just terrible right now. We got Zellers out. The injury sounds just like CJ, which we'll get into. Sure, I guess go ahead and get into right now his injury. But their injuries both sound worse than they actually are. One is a patella fracture, which you would think patella's on the knee. That should be like a terrible injury, but he's only out for like 1 or 2 weeks. And the same goes for CJ.
Speaking of Cody Zeller, he was in street clothes last night, and I was expecting to see like a big brace or like something, but he's just walking around fine, nothing on him.
I'm thinking it's just like
What is CJ's timetable?
CJ's, they said a week, like once they diagnosed it, a week for reevaluation. And like,
It'll be
if you
longer
look
than
it
that.
up, if you look up how long it takes for whatever it's called, I mean, I know like it's a
Lung?
collapsed lung, but it's not a fully collapsed lung. It's only like 1 to 2 weeks for most athletes. Like the last person to have this, they said Gerald Wallace had this like in like 2010, and he was out like 1 to 2 weeks. So
Yeah.
It took
Well,
me longer.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, facts.
Well-
You had that.
Yeah, basically, I had the same injury with CJ this summer, and I was in hospital, so definitely worse than him. Had it worse.
Pro athletes have crazy bodies, so they're able to get over stuff really quickly. But I did say, and maybe I don't know, in one of the first podcasts of the year, I said one big factor for the Blazers season is health. I said it was health because we're not that deep of a team, and we rely on our starters for big minutes. And when CJ misses a game, when Dame and CJ miss 3 games, I mean, how many games are you going to win when Dame and CJ don't play? I mean, I don't know.
We just need Dame to get back to what he used to be, which is like
Yeah,
tough because him at that level is hard to sustain. So
yeah, it's really tough to sustain because I mean, that's what I was telling Cody last night. We had a nice conversation last night while enjoying the hot tub. We were talking about how the Blazers have been so bad defensively, and we have had so many holes on the roster. But Dame and how great he's been has been able to kind of cover over those holes. Nice little flex seal on the holes, However, when Dame shoots through 14, the problem with the Blazers is we don't have any margin for error. It's like if you're gonna win a game, it's got to be Dame plays well, Simon plays. Everyone has to play well. Like you look at the Suns or the Warriors, like Curry can have a crap game and other guys can step up.
I mean, look at
That
Curry.
can't happen with the Blazers.
You could say Curry had a crap game. He's chucking up like 23s and hit like 5.
Yeah, look at Curry. He needed 16 threes against us, and he's still like half away. I mean, come on, man.
Did you know that he was going for the record that night? Dude, they wouldn't shut up on ESPN the whole time. He hit one three, and they're like, there's the first. And he's 15 from the record, and he's got 2 quarters to do it. Like,
Oh my goodness.
he was never going to hit it.
Bro, so
Well, I don't
cringe.
know.
Again.
I don't know if that was a cooler highlight or LeBron's and one last night.
We'll wait to see that on every single person's. Or LeBron putting on some glasses.
Oh wow!
Wow, that was
That's-
entertainment.
I want that on my feed.
I was insane.
Then
So- Do you have anything else to say?
I was just gonna say. Sorry, I was gonna say one more thing from our conversation. It's important. The other thing we said is the entirety of Dame's career in Portland. It's so obvious that we need an elite wing to pair with him because how many championship teams did not have an elite wing? I guess you could say the Raptors, but Siakam is still kind of close.
Kawhi?
Kawhi.
Okay, well, exactly, mate, exactly.
Giannis. We're going in order. Giannis, Kawhi, Lakers. I always forget the Mickey Mouse.
Bron?
Giannis, Braun, Kawhi,
KD?
KD,
KD.
KD again, Braun, KD.
Say Draymond?
Well, 2015 that was Curry's MVP year. He still had a sick defensive.
You could
player
say
in
Klay
Draymond.
Thompson's an elite wing.
Oh
He had
yeah,
6
of
But-
course. he is.
Yeah, but that's my
6 and
point.
7
You need an elite, either just wing or a 3 and D. For the longest time, we had D but no 3. Aminu and Harkless. Now we have all 3 but no D. You got to get
And-
both.
Robert Covington sometimes doesn't even bring the 3 or the D if we're talking about dunks.
Or you have to do both at a high level. Like when Rocco shoots, I'm not confident. Like you need Roke. Like Roke had a great defensive game. If he had Simons' shooting, it'd be insane.
That'd be
It'd be
beautiful.
insane. But that's kind of the other point I was
At
trying
this
to
point,
make
though,
about
I
that.
think we just we need to prioritize the defense because, again, like they always say, defense wins championships, and that's a true statement. Like you
And
can
once again,
you can
we're
beat a
29.
team when you hold them on defense.
Another thing we we're talking about related defense. So it's kind of really repetitive. Our players. I mean, we got Dame, Simons, CJ.
Mhm.
Those are 3 players that are all offense. I mean, I will say Simons is an okay defender, pretty good, but 3 undersized guards, and with Simons is kind of the new CJ, I guess, in a way. He's that guy who can just ISO himself and get a good little floater, shoot a three. But like having three of them, it's kind of useless. You need
And
to.
you practically have 4 if you include Norm, because Norm's still only 6'4" here.
Yeah, Norm is 6'4", and he's
Yeah,
playing the
true.
three. Like this 3-guard lineup, in my opinion, it never really seemed like it was going to work. I mean, sure, you can outscore teams. What happens when the shots don't fall? You're 11-16.
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally that.
And that's what's
And it's
bringing up
just-
all these trade rumors now. I mean, December 15th is when everybody is available for trades. The people that were signed in the offseason are available for trades and stuff like that. So they're expecting December 15th. We could see a trade. We normally don't see trades this early. We normally wait until the deadline. But with this many teams, there's a lot of teams out there that have a lot of unknowns. The Sixers have unknowns.
Yeah.
They don't have Ben Simmons playing. Blazers have unknowns. And then there's a bunch – the Pacers on a fire sale right now. There's a lot of teams that want to make moves, and the Blazers should be in the thick of a lot of those moves.
I think another problem with the 3-guard lineup, especially your closing lineup, is teams are able to exploit favorable matchups so easily against our defensive scheme. Like I noticed this at the game 3 or 4 times down the stretch. Russell has the ball, quick high screen and roll, and all of a sudden Cat's back is backing down Dame. It's like, I mean, that's an easy bucket for Cat. It's Karl Anthony Towns against a 6'3" guard. I mean, Dame's going to do all he can, but he's too big, too strong.
That was pretty frustrating.
That was frustrating. And then, I don't know. It's this. I like if you want to play a defense where you switch everything, then have the personnel to where you can switch everything. Stop putting Dame on freaking Kevin Durant. He hasn't, but that's kind of it's an example.
When it comes to trades and us making a move, are you a fan that wants to like give up CJ and like just CJ, or are you willing to give up like a Simons or a Little? Because
No,
those are our two.
I'm
young
not giving up Simons. Simons is going to take on Dame's role when Dame retires. He's not going to be as electric for the longest time. But Simons is at this point. I'm saying it because of recency bias and recency bias only. But Anthony Simons is a better shooter than Dame right now. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Obviously, this year.
In my opinion, the two people that I would want to give up the most is CJ and then Covington. I think they still hold some value, but the reason I say I want to give them up is because those are the two least performing people, in my opinion, that like still hold a little value. So like if you're looking at it from the other perspective, like they don't want them.
Here's the reason why CJ makes sense is because the problem is 4 guards. Like Cody said, it's repetitive. You're not trading your franchise star Dame. You're not trading Simons. You're not trading Simons because he's young. And why would you trade Norman? You just traded Gary Trent Jr. for him.
And Norm's on like a 5-year contract now.
Yeah, Norm's staying. And I think Norm's best at the 2. Just imagine the starting lineup of Dame, Norm, Simmons. Okay, you can give up Rocco. Simmons, Nance, and Nurk with Simons and Little. You can start Little if you want.
No, I get that, but the problem is like.
Yeah, I understand the other team has to want our players too.
No one wants CJ right now. Because CJ's just not like.
He's also got one lung.
Yeah, I did see a report that the Blazers and Sixers were not discussing, but kind of, I guess it's discussing a Tobias Harris for CJ swap, but the Blazers weren't interested in that. So do you think we have to get a player? If we're trading CJ?
I would take that. I would too. I'm sorry.
I would too. I think
we don't need a player better than CJ. We need a player that fits the team.
That's the thing. We don't need a player better than CJ. We just need fit. If we're trading CJ for just a solid 3-and-D wing that is still like good. Obviously.
CJ for Mikal Bridges. Oh my gosh. I'm in love with Mikal Bridges.
Like they would do that. I wish.
No, they never would. Never. They have Booker and Chris Paul.
Maybe if we just
Cameron the Rat Payne.
Who?
Said Cameron Payne, but he looks like a rat. So sorry, that was mean. I shouldn't have said that. I apologize, Cameron Payne.
He's definitely watching this.
You're just annoying. Frank Kaminsky. Oof.
Yeah, we just need a player that fits our team because we've been losing to worse talented teams than us, but just simply bond together and play better together because they're structurally built better than we are.
Precisely. Cole, you said before the podcast, Jeremy Grant's a target here.
Yeah, I mean, Shams reported it, and who knows if you
Shams.
yeah, Jeremy Grant. The Lakers, the Blazers are interested in him. I don't
Why
know
the
what that would
Lakers,
mean.
man? The Lakers can't have
The
everyone.
Lakers are interested in everybody. So if it says that on it, it's just like every single player that's in a trade rumor, just
I'm
you can
convinced
throw the
that
Lakers' name on it because they're thinking
I'm
Taylor
yeah
Horton Tucker can get them Bradley Beal.
yeah
But
I'm
that's them.
convinced. I'm convinced that they put the Lakers as a team that's interested just to get people's attention. Do you remember? Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was gonna talk about Shams a little bit and the whole and Woj and how they both like the
So
things they
Shams
report comes from two different sources. Like Woj's reports normally come from executives and
Well,
GMs.
Neil O'Shea and Woj had a business working
Exactly. That's what I was
like
gonna get
relationship.
into. Did you see what Dame put on his Twitter?
What?
So they were talking. They think that report where Dame wants the supermax of 2 years, 107 million. They think, or it's almost like confirmed at this point, that Neil O'Shea, like, kind of told Woj to release that to kind of just hurt the Blazers and hurt the Blazers stock when it comes to getting a new GM. And someone posted on their Twitter, it was a picture of Trump and Mike Pence talking. And the caption was Neil O'Shea and Woj talking about the Damian Lillard article. And someone tweeted that, and Damian Lillard responded and said, "Can't be surprised," basically saying he's not surprised that O'Shea's a snake.
Well, see, that's interesting, and people don't ever really talk about this, but like Woj and Shams, whatever you say it, like they're not just getting the information from the player, like they're getting it from someone who has their own motives and their own goals. And a lot of the news that is released in the NBA from Woj is to up a player's stock or to make a team look more favorable. Like, do we really believe that the 76ers wanted 4 first-round picks for Ben Simmons? I don't think the 76ers know that they're not going to get that. They're just trying to up his perceived value.
Oh.
Up Simmons' perceived value. Like, if the 76ers actually think that they can get 4 firsts for Ben Simmons, then they need to go to the G League.
Yep.
Are you serious? Are you serious with that?
I don't when it comes to all these trades. I don't know
I
what
would
to
take
expect
Jeremy
because
Grant.
it's
I'll
a whole
take
new
Jeremy
GM.
Grant.
It's a whole
I'll
new
take
GM.
Jeremy Grant.
You what?
I would take Jeremy Grant. He's literally a better version of Larry Nance Jr.
I mean, sure, I would take Jeremy Grant, but is Jeremy
I
Grant
would-
like that?
I would be
Jeremy
open to
Grant,
trading Nurk.
Is the only reason Jeremy Grant doing so good is because he's on the Pistons? Because I mean, last time he was on like the Nuggets, he was like just.
Well, he was young. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
but
he's
probably
grown a little bit.
But he'd be a great a good role player. We don't need a star. We have one.
Yeah, but it's like, who are we? I don't know who they would even want for Jeremy Grant. They probably want someone young. I hate to say it, but I feel like
give him Nurk.
I feel like we could see a Simons or Little get traded. I hate to say it. I don't want that.
They would have to go with Little over Simons. Okay, but Simons' value is insane right now.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
Little is literally like has the potential to be this 3-and-D that we want, and Little's been really good this year.
I think you trade Nurk. I would do a Nurk and CJ package. I would do a Nurk and CJ package. I'm not even kidding.
Nurk and CJ for Miles Turner and Karis LeVert.
LeVert plays no defense.
He's our bench scorer.
So is Simons.
Yeah, I was talking about that trade before the year. I don't know. What players are available?
My point is, I was actually talking with your dad, Cody, about this last night after the game. And we were talking about how Nurk is just like, he can have a great stat line, and it doesn't really seem like he's impacting the game. Like, he's kind of just out there. And the pace of the game is too quick for him. He's picking up fouls all the time. He's big. He's just a big dude. He's not like this insane passer anymore. We don't really get him the ball. He has no post moves. I mean, he's like, he might be a top 10 center, like the back end, maybe. But I think you could do with more of like a I'm not going to say Bam because Bam's insane, but like more of a Bam style center that's more, quick and twitchy.
I feel like
you don't need a lumberjack at center.
I just feel like he's not our first option we should do in terms of trading. Like, we got to get rid of a guard and try to get a bigger 3-and-D player type first, I'd say. Because Nurk's still, I still think he's really good. At least, I mean, he's
Mhm.
great. I watch him and not amazing. He's not trash. He's solid. I think he's good, and I think he's
Yeah.
good defense too. And so I think getting rid of him would be a mistake, in my opinion. At
Yeah.
least for me.
I
Getting rid of
think the
who?
other Nurk.
Yeah.
The other
That's
thing
fair.
is like, I think like deep down, like Dame and CJ want to win that title together in Portland, but I think they're slowly starting to realize that like it just not be meant to be.
Yeah, I released that video talking about CJ's article, and I think it's kind of sad, but it's just the firm reality that CJ's starting to realize is like he's probably going to get traded.
Yeah, which is really sad. I don't want him to get traded. Like, but you
For
look
the
how the
team.
look at the Raptors, for example. Like, I'm not saying it's ours, but the Raptors traded probably one of the best Raptors of all time in DeMar DeRozan because they saw a win now opportunity to win a title, and they got it with Kawhi. I'm not saying we'll get Kawhi for CJ, but like that's some risk you have to take. Get rid of a fan favorite, a guy you've groomed your whole life in the franchise for a win now player. I mean, it's like, do we want the emotional side where like, oh, we'll go to a Western Conference Finals once every 10 years with the same guys, or do you want to have a chance to win a title?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
looking over. ESPN released an article talking about three realistic Ben Simmons trades.
So
It's not like just firm trades. It's more like a discussion in the article, and it talks about how the Pelicans could go after Ben Simmons. Talks about the Pacers, and then the Blazers are the last one. And they say McCollum for Simmons trade works straight up money wise, but Philly would most likely want more in return. It
mhm.
says Blazers picks aren't really the best thing for the Blazers because they already owe Chicago a pick from something. I'm not really sure what that's from though. Actually, no, I think that's from the Robert Covington trade, and then somehow that pick got sent to Chicago. But it says, besides McCollum and a little bit of draft assets, the Sixers will most likely look for Nasir Little as part of the trade. That gives you a big wing the 76ers lack. So would you be interested in doing a McCollum Little and say a 2026 first round pick or something for Simmons?
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah,
I would probably say yes too.
I probably would too.
It's
Yeah.
just the potential of a Ben Simmons, Damian Lillard backcourt because you have Ben Simmons who's driving. Like Ben Simmons can't shoot. Like we know that. Like
Hey,
literally can't.
He could be
Yes.
just working on a shot right now. No one knows.
True.
Okay, he's probably not.
But I would do it, unfortunately. I don't know why I said unfortunately, but I'd do it.
All right, I've got another article that was released. It says 3 trades the Trailblazers can make following CJ McCollum's injury. This will probably have nothing to do with CJ McCollum because even though I still think McCollum will get healthy soon. But the first one is with the Pacers. Robert Covington and Nurkic for Miles Turner and Goga Badatsa.
I just saw that article and I hate all the trades.
Are they bad? I haven't even looked at all of them.
They're so bad, in my opinion. But I saw that article the other day, and I mean, like, I don't know. I hate those trades. There was an interesting one where there's an article where they were talking about less about like the nitty gritty like details of the trade and more about just like the core pieces, like a CJ centered trade for a Pascal Siakam centered trade. Would you do that?
I mean, I would, but there's no way in hell that the Raptors would, given the fact that.
I don't know. Siakam, I don't know. You have Scotty Barnes and OG now.
But you have Gary Trent and you have. I feel like they wouldn't want Gary Trent or they wouldn't want CJ after getting Gary Trent. But maybe.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, probably. But I mean, I think Siakam's getting dealt soon somewhere.
Point is, Blazers need to quit being wussies, make a move. and because we're not going to get championship without a big move here. And even if that means getting rid of CJ or someone that we love, just I know deep down we all love him, want him to succeed, but hey, I know he's got a 300-acre wine, whatever.
We'll still love him in Portland,
Yeah.
but it might be time for a move. And we have to take advantage because Damian Lillard, again, is committing to the Blazers and talking about how much he loves the Blazers, and you got to take advantage of that before he actually wants to go.
Yeah, for sure. Just want to talk about the schedule here for the rest of the month.
Yeah, let's talk about the schedule, and then we'll wrap it
First
up.
of all,
We'll get done in about 7 minutes.
5 losses in a row. Awful start to December. I mean, yes, Dame is out, but he's back now. So looking at the schedule, we play at home, Phoenix. That's a loss. At home against Memphis and Charlotte. At Memphis. At New Orleans. And then 3 home games around Christmas time versus Nets, Mavericks, Jazz, and then December 31st at Lakers.
Yeah, Cole, do you think it's possible we're still 500 by Christmas?
Because you
If
did
that's
say
the
that.
case, we would have to go – we have 9 games. We would have to go 6-3.
1, 2, 3, 4,
I think there's
5, 6. No, we have 6
Christmas.
games.
Christmas. I was looking
Okay,
until New
fine.
Year's.
We'll say the New Year. We have 9 games. We have to go 6-3.
Yes, because then that would
No,
put
we
us
don't.
at – oh,
Go more than
why did I
that.
say 6-3? 7-2. More than that. Wait.
Yeah, no, 7-2. That would put us at 18-18.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Yeah, we're going to lose probably against Phoenix. I mean, if we can't beat the Wolves at home, Phoenix is just going to be so hard.
But the funny thing, we beat Phoenix to shreds last time
True.
at home.
And that's
That's
on
on
national
TNT.
TV, so that's not fun.
At home, Memphis, I'd like to say
I don't know. You just got to expect at some point Dame's going to come out and just like have a great game. He literally said, you guys obviously wasn't watching the broadcast, but he was talking about it before the game. He was like, this cortisone shot I got, while I'm not 100% comfortable and he thinks he will get that soon, he's like, he feels so much better than what he used to feel like. Like he said it was hurting for him just to raise up for a shot earlier in the year. So he said after the game, it's just like, I just got to get my timing back because I hadn't been shooting for the last week or two.
Or
Well,
just
we
making
do-
excuses. Just kidding.
Well, we need to go 7-2 to be 500 by the New Year. And I just want to touch on the schedule quick. I mean, it's not the schedule, the standings. I mean, look, there's 3 bona fide contenders in the West: Phoenix, Golden State, and Utah. After that, I'm assuming the Lakers and the Clippers will kind of like Memphis is 16-11. Like, you sure?
Well,
I don't know. There's just a hodgepodge of teams kind of from 4 to 12.
Yeah, I just don't
And-
want it to get to the point like it was in 2020 where like we're bad for a long period of time enough to where we get out of reach of missing, like not being in this play-in tournament, because I would prefer to not to be in that, honestly.
Here, this
Obviously.
is interesting. This kind of a breakdown. In 3-point games or less, we're 0-2. So we haven't won close games.
That's not normal.
Versus teams above 500, we're 7-11. Versus teams below 500, we are 4-5.
Wow.
We need to be like 6-3 against below 500 teams, man. Come on. At least.
I want to say that I could have confidence beating some of these teams, but when we're losing to the Timberwolves and Kings, it's hard to be confident about any game other than like the Pistons.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Just looking at the rest, every game's tough. I'm not like just because of our record, every game is tough. But if I had to look at it, the Suns game is really hard. The Nets game is really hard. The Jazz game is really hard.
other than that, they're all winnable games.
Nets is hard. Lakers on the road is pretty tough.
I wouldn't
mean,
argue that, but
All right, Crypto.
Yeah, but look, we just got to turn it around. Come on, guys.
yeah, we were saying how easy of a schedule December is, but honestly, the easy part is already over. That we were referring to at home against San Antonio, Boston,
Oh yeah, I know.
Minnesota. So, and we lost all of them. So,
Yeah,
I was saying that when we were a 10-1 team at home. What are we now, like 10-5 at home? Do we
Yeah,
still have
since-
1 win on the road?
yeah. But since CJ said, yeah, we have 1 win on the road. Since CJ said, 10 in a row at the crib. We haven't won since then.
I know. So that's a sign CJ got to go.
Well, no CJ tomorrow against the Suns. That's a huge game. We're not supposed to win, but if we somehow win that game, that'd be a great bounce back. I'm praying we win that game.
Turn the momentum around. Yeah.
All right.
Even if we don't win, at worst, Dame have a pretty good game.
Okay. No, we have to win, bro. I mean, 11-17.
We can't say we have to win because we're probably not going to win at all. I was thinking,
You
I
say-
think last game was pretty much to win, honestly. Can't be losing games at home against teams that aren't that good.
Yep. Well, any other comments, questions,
And that's all we got.
concerns about the team? I know there's a lot of them, but well, we're kind of on trade watch here. It starts in 2 days, so probably by who knows? Maybe by the next podcast we'll have a big news bomb.
Hopefully.
Yep, maybe.
See what Joe Cronin does.
See, here's
Yeah.
the problem. I'm like emotionally connected to CJ. I'm not to Nurk. I don't want CJ to go. I want Nurk to go.
Nurk just makes me more mad because Nurk just sometimes looks like he does.
Nurk's younger too. I feel like you could how many teams have it built?
Yeah, but remember,
center.
get away from this. The lineup we were on with CJ is the reason where normally we're not going to ever get past that ceiling. So sadly,
Maybe you can just yeah, you're right. All right.
that's all we got for episode 32. Make sure to subscribe if you're even a Timbers fan too, and if you're a Blazer fan, look out for the vlog. You guys are going to be releasing a vlog. Are we?
Yeah, either
the game?
tonight or tomorrow. Probably tonight.
Yeah. But we will get that to you guys as soon as possible. Make sure to subscribe. Comment if you like the new setup of the podcast. These guys don't see it right now, but when it's finally edited, it will be a cool little setup, cool format. And we'll catch you next time. Peace.